Hello everyone, it's Rick. It's May the 23rd, 2017. If you need to contact me, my email address is rick0327@me.com. So, I had a lot of people watch the video yesterday, and, I appreciate it. Also shows that you guys are interested in seeing why the child support agency is not going to comply. Now, I know, I've had people reach out to me who have, used the services of other people, and they tell me that they don't even get a response. Nothing. One thing with me, my paperwork, I get a response. And when you get a response, you can act on that response. As I talked about yesterday. Can't be we, because it's me talking into a computer. But again, now when a lawyer, and listen again, I keep telling you guys, these lawyers are not nearly as smart as they think they are and what they would have us all believe they are. Okay? When I was a police officer, when I did go to traffic court, every once in a while, there'd be somebody there represented by a lawyer for traffic court. Now, do you think that lawyer went to law school to become a lawyer to represent people in traffic court? When he or she was studying for the bar exam, they're like, I'm going to be the best traffic court lawyer there is. Of course not, because obviously he or she couldn't cut it in the real world. There's too many lawyers. Okay? So they're not that smart. It's not that many doctors, because, becoming a doctor is hard. All right? Not many engineers. Being an engineer is hard. There's a shitload of lawyers, because being a lawyer is not hard. You just gotta go to 3 years of law school, then you gotta take a test, and then you could lie all you want. If you have no conscience, you have no morals, you have no ethics, you could steal as much money as you want. And if you have that if you have that ability to lie, no conscience, then family law is the way to go. Divorce, family law, you're going to make a ton of money and nothing's going to happen to you. At least in the courts. Okay? I can't wait for the day when I pick up a newspaper or read the news, or watch the news, and there's a story about somebody getting their head cracked open with a bat. A lawyer or one of these fake judges in child support. Okay? I believe it happens. They don't publicize it because they don't want to encourage people. A few years ago out here in New York, in Long Island, a support magistrate was found in a pool. Shady circumstances, but they didn't initially tell everybody what she was. They kept that a secret for a while, and it finally came out a while later. Okay, because they don't want to encourage people to do this. Okay, but it's going to happen sooner or later. You destroy people's lives for a living. It's going to happen sooner or later. You're going to run into people who just don't care. Okay. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying was the response was, well, we're not going to respond to any of those demands. Now, I threatened them in the notice that it's a crime when you steal somebody's property without all the things that you claim that I am by me being an obligor, and then when I say to you, well, I need to see the undertaking or the agreement or the loan with my wet ink signature, that's a crime. I'm gonna notify local law enforcement. And their response is, we're not gonna respond. So now we're gonna take it a step further now. Now, what I want everybody to start doing from now on, okay? Those of you that have been with me for a while, those of you that donated and received the paperwork, our next goal is, and I gotta clarify. When I say Supreme Court, I mean your state Supreme Court. Okay, there's a Supreme Court in every county. Okay, trial court where you can file writ of mandamus. Any court where they have jury trials. That's the one I'm talking about. So if anybody was confused, I apologize. And we're going to file the writ of mandamus, the writ of prohibition, writ of certiorari. And what happens now is it's going to be on record, and it's going to serve a couple of purposes. Oh, shit. Hold on, guys. This stupid thing. And I'm in the middle of driving here, of course. And what it does is that it's going to be on record now, which could serve a purpose down the road, as I wrote in the notice yesterday, that it's going to be recorded in a court that they never had the undertaking. They never had any of the evidence required to, or the court order to do the things that they did, or that allows them to do what they were doing, like taking your wages. Your wages is your property. It's become acceptable, and lawyers will never do this for you. A lawyer won't say, you know what, I'm gonna say it in New York, because it's called an Article 78. You know what, we're gonna do an Article 78, and we're gonna go to court, and we're gonna get this taken care of. They don't do that. Lawyers, as far as like child support is concerned, all they are expediters. Meaning their job is to just, maneuver you into doing what the court wants you to do. That's it. They're not about representing you, making sure you get due process. They're not about you receiving equal protection. They're not about any of that, as you guys all well know. Okay? My friend Mike Gilligan has a channel. His life changed. He'd probably still be going through the nonsense if he didn't fire his lawyer and represent himself. Okay? All the guys that are having success with this are without an attorney, or you use the services like myself, Amin Osiris. Yesterday I said I know of no one who's ever won. I was wrong. Amin Osiris has represented people in hearings and won. And he didn't correct me, by the way. I just remembered. All right? So, but I'm talking about somebody going in there by themselves, like, pro se or whatever. I know of no one that have gone in there, like myself. I went in there fully aware of my rights. I just didn't know. I didn't know how corrupt it was. I had an idea. I just didn't have any idea it was that corrupt. But I went in there knowing my rights, 5 years ago, and I got obliterated. Excuse me. But you can't win. It's a kangaroo court. But the way to go is to go to the next higher court. But again, we got to get all our ducks in a row. We just can't go right to that higher court, unfortunately. Okay, because it's gonna be a waste of money and time. So you got to get everything in a row. And this is not about me, seeking money for my paperwork. It's just the way it is. But using my paperwork, you automatically are gonna have, when you do everything, you're automatically gonna have evidence to present in court. Okay? I'm gonna try and fix this. Hold on. This fucking thing. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. This is what they call technical difficulty. Well, not really technical. It's a mechanical difficulty. So you automatically have exhausted remedies. And we have evidence. Okay, we have evidence that there's no valid court order signed by a deputy clerk. There's case law out there I was telling you about, from the Ninth Circuit Federal Court of Appeals. It says an order signed by a deputy clerk is void for lack of judicial signature. You can't get any more, clear. You can't clarify it better than that. All right, we also, people have a response from the clerk's office. There's no money judgment. So a money judgment or a lien has to be recorded in the clerk's office. It has to be, or it doesn't exist. So we have that. And then, the interrogatories, the child support agency, of course, they're not going to cooperate. And we could take them to the Supreme Court for the writ of mandamus. Okay? And that's where we're going to have some fun, because we can have the court compel them to provide discovery of a valid court order, all right, and proof of a debt, discovery of debt. Because what happens is, under 42 U.S.C. Section 407 is assignment of rights. And what happens is, the baby mama, whatever, the mother of the children, custodial parent, must assign the rights to, that's why a lot of you guys will say, county of so-and-so child support services against or versus you. And what happens is, that's because the mother of your children assigned her rights over to them, and they took you to court. So, we're gonna ask for that. We're gonna say, okay, well, where is that? Can I see that? Also, that's proof that we're gonna ask for discovery. Okay, is she now, or has she been receiving public assistance? Okay. Excuse me, guys. I told you I got some breathing problems from being a 9/11 rescue guy, or whatever you want to call it. I'm afraid to go to the doctor, of course. But anyway, and what it is that, the case law out there, Blessing versus Fremont, Wehunt versus Ledbetter, where it's been cited in the courts that all child support, when they're forcing the assignment of rights, is so the state can recoup the welfare expenditures. Well, one, it's not an enforceable right, which means it's not mandatory, which means it's not a law that they can enforce. It's again, we've discussed this. It's more trickery. It's more of them disguising things. Child support. Oh, but it's really not child support. It's recoupment of welfare benefits. Okay, so, but again, we go to a higher court, and the higher court is going to say, well, where is this discovery that the petitioner is asking for? And when they can't provide it, it's going to be hard. Even though we're going to know in that case the judge is really not going to be for you. You got to go into every case thinking that, guys. The judges are not on your side. So it's very important that you know your rights going in. Okay? Judges are not allowed to tell you how to raise your children. If you're going through a divorce, people are like right away, well, the court told me I can only see my kids on this day and that. No, they cannot. You got to understand something. And you're not being an anarchist or any of that stuff. They cannot tell you how to raise your children. The only time the government can get involved is if your children is in any imminent danger. That's it. But because it's become commonplace, with divorces and everything, you see it in the news all the time, with these movie stars and shit, and with yourself, that you think it's, that they could tell you that. No. I want to see my, one, never call yourself a custodial parent. Okay? Never call yourself a husband. You're a mate. Okay? You guys mated. When you have sex, you have mate. When you got married, you don't have a partner. Partner is a corporate term. It's a contractual term. These are all little things that you got to learn. But anyway, I'm all over the place, and I apologize because there's a lot of information, But I want everybody to look up Writ of Mandamus, look up Writ of Prohibition. That's the next stage that we're going to. Okay, hopefully everybody start getting your stuff in order. Okay, and sadly, it costs money to go to the courts. There's no way around it. And I told you guys in videos that, ultimately this was what we were going to be doing. Okay, and I was bringing you along. Okay, I wasn't deceiving anybody or anything. Hoping that along the way, maybe, somebody, a couple of guys have done, and some people have got their employer to stop taking the money. There's some successes, but it took me, it took me 4 years. All right? It took me from June 2012 until November of 2016 to finally get it taken care of. And it wasn't until I started threatening people, like you saw in my affidavit yesterday. All right? So, if we could paint a picture, maybe even what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to put together an affidavit for you guys to send in response to your employer who are being difficult. I don't know what's going on with these people. I don't know why. I don't know how they got to these people. They must be getting paid. I don't know why the employer is so. One employer, a guy reached out to me Saturday, said the employer reached out to the child support agency, and the child support agency says there's a court order, but we can't give it to you. All right? So the employer was like, oh, okay. Well, no, you got to see it. The employer must see it. So there is no court order. That's the reason why the child support agency is not giving it to them. All right? But the employer was like, well, we still got to take your money. And it's just, again, now we got to take them to the Supreme Court in your area. And you know what? Then I said I'm going to put together the affidavit. I'm going to paint the same picture I painted yesterday with the child support agency. Well, I'm like, listen, I'm going to take you to the court. I'm going to ask you to provide this and that. But also it's going to be on the record that you never had it. Which means you were never authorized to take my property. Which means it's going to be recorded that you were notified all the reasons why you weren't supposed to take my property, but you did it anyway. And then you forced me to take you here, and it's now going to be recorded that you deprived me of my rights. You deprived me of my property. You caused me pain and suffering. You're all lined up for another lawsuit. And let me tell you, I've seen it with my own job. I saw people win very big awards. I saw people suspended on my job for a year, 2 years. And a lot of times, things don't get fixed until you're inside of a courtroom. And hopefully you get lucky, you get a judge who's actually, if the judge, like me, when I go to court, they give me respect because they know who I am. They know I have a YouTube channel. They know that I know what I'm talking about. And they treat you with respect by reading your paperwork. And a lot of times, things don't get fixed until you're in a courtroom. And I saw people get 2 or 3 years of back pay. I've seen it, and I didn't see it personally. I heard it because these are people I worked with. And where the judge was like, well, I got news for you. I'm making a note that this was malicious prosecution, and you have grounds to seek damages and sue them because the judge saw through the bullshit. And that's what we're going to do. So if we paint a picture to your employer, hey, I asked you not to do this. You made me take you to court. You made me spend more money. you caused me and my wife or whoever pain and suffering, couldn't feed my children, you're going to pay. You're going to pay because you refused to comply with the law. You refused to see the facts. You refused, you just kept going along with this scam. And I told you it was a scam. I told you that there's no signature, all the requirements that is needed for a warrant, for a court order, and you still kept taking my money for some kind of fear of a fine or whatever. Okay? And that's the way to go. So all of you out there, I know you get despaired. You lose hope. I did many, many, many times. But I never gave up. Well, actually, I did give up a couple of times, but then I ran into Amon Osiris videos. I got, hyped up again because I'm like hearing stuff that I know that is true. And lo and behold, I wound up winning. All right? Now, the next thing for me is to get my money back. All right? But listen, I rambled on long enough. But again, let's get ready. Writ of Mandamus. Let's get ready. Get your stuff in order. Because that's going to be the next challenge, is going into a higher court and force these people to show their cards. All right? All right, guys.